Out on the endless blue, where every sunrise looked the same and every mistake could be your last, pirates discovered something extraordinary. They didn't just plunder ships or chase treasure, they hacked the very laws of nature. When their barrels of drinking water ran dry and the ocean mocked them with a million undrinkable waves, they found a way to turn that same deadly seawater into pure, life-saving water. No filters, no fancy tools, just fire, cloth, and pure survival genius. This isn't myth or legend. It's the real-life pirate trick that defied the sea itself. In the golden age of piracy, the biggest killer wasn't the sword, the storm, or the hangman's noose. It was thirst. Fresh water was the most valuable thing on any ship, even more than gold. Every voyage started with barrels filled to the brim, but once those ran dry, desperation set in. The crew would stare at miles of shimmering blue, knowing that every drop could kill them faster than starvation. Drink seawater, and your body begins to betray you. The salt pulls moisture from your cells, your tongue swells, your skin cracks, and death creeps in quietly through dehydration. Pirates knew this well, so when the barrels ran dry, they turned to the one thing they had plenty of, the ocean itself, and figured out how to make it drinkable. Pirates weren't scientists, but they understood something most people overlook. When water boils, it leaves its impurities behind. Salt, minerals, bacteria, none of them rise with the steam. Somewhere between desperation and genius, a crew of salt-streaked sailors turned that knowledge into action. They filled iron pots with seawater, set them over open flames, and stretched cloth or canvas across the top. As the boiling water turned to vapour, it condensed on the cooler fabric, forming droplets that dripped into smaller containers. What dripped out wasn't seawater, it was fresh, clean, drinkable water. It wasn't much, but out there, every drop was life. This rough, improvised version of distillation would later inspire the very science behind modern desalination plants. Pirates were the masters of improvisation. When supplies ran low, they didn't wait for miracles, they made their own. Some used cannon barrels as boilers, heating them from below and catching the steam that escaped from the opening. Others turned torn sails into massive condensers to trap vapour and collect the precious droplets. They'd even build makeshift shelters on deck to trap heat and keep wind from stealing their hard-won steam. Every bit of ingenuity meant one more day alive. When fire wasn't an option, say when they needed to stay hidden from enemy ships, they turned to the oldest, quietest power source in the world, the sun. The solar still might sound modern, but pirates were using it centuries before survival manuals existed. They poured seawater into shallow bowls, covered them with oiled cloth or animal skin, and let the tropical sun do the rest. As the water evaporated, it condensed on the underside of the cover, sliding down into smaller cups. It was slow, it was crude, but it worked, and that's all that mattered. This same technique, unchanged in principle, is still used today by survivalists, sailors, and even the military in emergency situations. The brilliance of the trick lies in its simplicity. When water turns to vapour, it leaves nearly everything else behind. What you get back when that vapour cools is the purest form of life there is: clean water. Centuries later, the world would rediscover what pirates had already mastered. The basic method of evaporate, separate, condense and collect became the foundation for modern desalination. Huge industrial plants today use the same principle on a massive scale, converting ocean water into fresh water for entire cities. The United States Navy used similar survival stills during World War II, and even astronauts have emergency kits that rely on the same process. But while modern systems run on advanced machinery, the heart of the science hasn't changed. Pirates figured it out with iron pots, torn sails, and raw willpower. You don't need a ship or a crew of rogues to pull this off. If you ever find yourself near salt water with no fresh water in sight, you can recreate the pirate trick easily. Fill a pot with seawater and place a smaller container inside to catch the fresh water. Cover the pot with a lid turned upside down or a heat-proof bowl. As the water boils, steam will rise, condense on the cover, and drip into your smaller container. That's pure, drinkable water, no electricity, no filters, just heat and patience. If fire isn't an option, use the solar still method. Dig a small hole, pour seawater inside, cover it with clear plastic, and place a rock in the center so it dips. The heat from the sun will cause condensation to form and drip down into your cup. It's slow, but it's survival. What makes this story incredible isn't just the trick itself, it's the mindset behind it. Pirates didn't wait for rescue. They didn't depend on gear they didn't have. They looked at what was around them and made it work. Cannon barrels became boilers, sails became condensers. Even shattered glass was used to magnify sunlight for faster evaporation. That's the essence of survival: resourcefulness, creativity, and adaptability. Long before prepping had a name, pirates were already living it. They turned desperation into innovation and chaos into control. So next time you see the calm, endless blue of the ocean, remember that hidden beneath that beauty lies the deadliest thirst trap on Earth. And centuries ago, a ragged band of sailors found a way to beat it, with nothing but fire, cloth, and grit. That's not just history. That's survival wisdom that still works today.